When a billionaire entered, this 12-year-old's heartfelt plea revealed an incredible transformation. Mia Thompson stood at the edge of her small town, watching as the dawn wrapped the Rust Belt Midwest in a soft golden hue. Beneath this serene front, her heart thudded loud in her chest. Just weeks ago, their lives had spun out of control when her father lost his job, casting a shadow over their once vibrant home filled with laughter and warmth. Now, it was filled with worry, bills piled like mountains on the kitchen table. Her mom tried to hold it all together, but Mia could see the fatigue darkening her eyes, the deep lines of concern etched into her forehead. Scraping by was their new reality. Mia, just 12 years old, woke before the sunrise to deliver newspapers along streets that seemed to whisper forgotten dreams. She clutched her backpack tightly and believed she was strong enough to keep their tiny family from tipping over the edge. Every silver coin she earned felt like a lifeline, woven with love for her mom and little brother, Max, who looked up to her with innocent eyes, unaware of their struggles. The community center buzzed with excitement one chilly evening as billionaire tech mogul Jack Reynolds strode in. He had promised to give hope to the beaten-down residents of their town. Mia glanced around, absorbing the hope painted across faces that had seen too much despair. The air was electric with anticipation, and her heart raced. She knew, somehow, the words trapped inside her had to escape. When she stepped onto the stage, her small figure barely noticeable against the gleaming backdrop, something shifted. With her heart hammering away, she laid bare their truth. Families like mine were tired. We work so hard, juggling school and jobs. And I see my mom standing at the fridge, looking for food that isn't there. A hush fell as her voice quivered, pouring sadness and grit into the words, laying her soul bare. She thought she saw a flicker of understanding from Jack, but it disappeared too quickly. He dismissed her plea with corporate buzzwords, offering only a sponsorship that felt empty, a slap in the face of their struggle. Days later, the news hit hard. The local factory, the beating heart of the community, announced its closure. Panic swept like wildfire, igniting fear in their hearts. But Mia, instead of shrinking, felt a fire grow within her. She looked into her neighbors' eyes, their collective despair fueling her courage. They banded together, organizing a protest. The streets filled with voices lost in determination, echoes of joy mingling with a sense of purpose. As Mia stood in front of the factory, the atmosphere thick with tension, she saw Jack. Something clicked. Their eyes locked, fierce and unyielding. "You can't just throw money at us," she shouted, voice rising over the crowd. "We need more than just charity. Look at us. We're not just your data points. We're people." Her words cut through the air, raw, powerful, a call to arms. Jack faltered. Somewhere deep within, she felt she had struck a chord, a crack in the billionaire's polished armor. Would he see beyond the glimmer of his wealth? Would Mia's fiery spirit wake him to the truth of their lives? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet as the chants of their community rose, the clouds overhead darkened. Jack's change of heart could either be their salvation or their demise. Mia held on to hope, feeling her passion surge. The fight for her family, for her town's heartbeat, was just beginning. Would Mia's heartfelt plea ignite a true transformation, or would they all face the harsh reality of dreams slipping further away? Mia stood firm, her heart drumming louder than the chants around her. The crowd surged with emotion, voices blending into a wave of desperation. She could feel their strength, neighbors, friends, families united, pushing against the tide of uncertainty. Jack was still there, a silent figure wrapped in confusion, visibly shaken by the power of her words. "Look!" Mia shouted, pointing towards the factory entrance. That place was our lifeline. It fed our families, it's where dreams were born. For many of us, it was all we had. And now her voice wavered for just a moment, but she steadied herself, and now it's gone. We deserve better than what you call a handout. The wind whipped through the crowd, taunting but also invigorating. She glanced at her friend Sarah, always ready with a shared joke, Danny, who flipped burgers after school to help out his mom, even little Max, clutching a sign that read "Save Our Town." They were her motivation, and deep down, something primal urged her to keep pushing. Jack shifted uneasily, his usual composed demeanor faltering as murmurs spread among the crowd. She could see it now, the flickers of doubt shimmering in his icy blue eyes. Maybe Mia had touched something inside him, a hint of the humanity he had long since abandoned in the pursuit of profit. Suddenly, Jack raised a hand for silence, cutting through the chaos. "I hear you," he said. The tension shifted, the crowd's roar hushed to a whisper, the air crackling with anticipation. "I see you all. But he hesitated, "You must understand, I'm just one man. My resources are limited, and when a factory shuts down, it's not just lost jobs, it's," he trailed off, struggling to find the right words. "No," Mia interjected. "It's not just numbers. It's lives. We need you to help us build something new, not just throw money at us. We want to work, to create, to bring our community together." The intensity of her plea echoed in the air, drawing nods of agreement from her neighbors. What if Jack's voice was softer now, almost uncertain? What if I could help rejuvenate the town? Not just a charity deal but a partnership. An investment in new opportunities. Hope flickered, fragile but present. Mia's heart raced. Could this be the turning point? She watched as Jack's gaze scanned the crowd, seeking acknowledgement, perhaps even inspiration. But with hope came fear. Would he really follow through, or was this just another empty promise? The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and caution, a wave of energy pulsing through. Yet Mia felt a knot in her stomach. What do you mean by that? Because words mean nothing without action. Jack took a deep breath, eyes narrowing on her. "Let us meet tomorrow. I want to hear your ideas," he said, hesitating, "and possibly give some of my own." Silence fell as every eye turned toward Mia, holding her breath in hope-laden disbelief. The crowd murmured anxiously, fingers twitching with anticipation. "Tomorrow," she repeated, a sense of disbelief washing over her. "You're serious?" "I am," he nodded, the weight of his responsibility suddenly apparent. Mia couldn't believe it. After everything, was a chance actually on the horizon? As the crowd buzzed with excitement, she saw Jack standing amidst them, no longer just a billionaire beyond their reach but someone who might just understand the stakes. But as she looked into the future, she wondered, could one meeting change everything? Or would the town's dreams once again slip through their fingers? Her heart raced in anticipation. The moment of truth was upon them, and the stakes were higher than ever. All she had to do was convince Jack that their lives mattered. Would they have the courage to change the course of their community's fate? Mia woke early the next morning, anxiety swirling like a storm inside her. She could hardly focus on breakfast, slapping peanut butter onto toast with shaky hands. Every bite felt heavy in her stomach as if guilt and expectation weighed down on her. Today was pivotal. The echoes of the crowd's hope and her own courage had woven a fragile safety net, but everything depended on what happened in a few short hours. "Everything okay, sweetie?" her mother asked, sensing the tension radiating from Mia. "Yeah, just big day," Mia replied, offering a weak smile. She tried to meet her mother's gaze but found herself staring at the table instead. Why had she jumped at the chance to confront Jack? What if he was just stringing them along like so many before? She finished her breakfast and paced the small living room, glancing at the clock, willing time to speed up. The town felt different today. There was an electric energy crackling in the air. Outside, people walked by, chatting and sharing hopeful glances. They were buzzing with the same anticipation that churned within her. Minutes felt like hours as she prepared her notes. Ideas poured out of her head like coffee spilling over a too full cup. She scribbled furiously, envisioning community gardens, art initiatives, job training workshops, anything that could spark life back into their town. But in the back of her mind loomed the fear of disappointment. What if Jack didn't take her seriously? What if they were never more than a number to him? At last, the hour neared. Mia stepped out of her house, pulling at her sleeves, trying to settle her nerves. She could see a small crowd gathering outside the old library where the meeting was set. Jack had chosen a public place, and she hoped that would add a sense of accountability. Would he stand firm, or would the wheels of industry churn his resolve into dust? As she approached, she spotted familiar faces. Sarah was there, an encouraging smile plastered on her face, while Danny was busy whispering something to Max, whose eyes gleamed with youthful optimism. "You got this, Mia," Sarah shouted, her voice bursting with warmth. The support from her friend steadied her nerves, filling her with a flicker of determination. The doors swung open, and Jack stepped out. He looked surprisingly calm, though apprehensive as he scanned the small crowd. He wore a crisp shirt and jeans, an outfit as ordinary as anyone else, yet he still carried an air of distance. "Mia," he called, spotting her in the crowd. She swallowed hard, stepping forward. The weight of expectation was both exhilarating and suffocating. All eyes turned toward her, the weight of a town's hope resting on her small shoulders. "Thank you for coming, everyone," Jack began, his voice firm yet tentative. "I know the last few weeks have been difficult, and I want to hear your ideas. Together, we can see how we can turn this around." Mia felt the rush of adrenaline surge through her. She shifted on her feet, visions of the community they could rebuild filling her mind. She opened her notebook, fingers trembling slightly as she flipped to her most passionate plans. But before she could speak, a voice rang out from the crowd, someone questioning Jack's true intentions. The weight of doubt fell heavy in the air, a challenge laced with fear. "Why should we trust you?" The voice echoed, stark and sharp, cutting through the moment. Mia's heart sank. She needed to counter this, to rally her community, to show Jack what he meant to them. The tension thickened, an urgency rising within her as she cleared her throat. Because she started, her voice barely above a whisper. And in that instant, the room fell silent. Could she find the words to turn skepticism into belief? Would she be able to transform that doubt into the spark they all needed? The moment was here, and the fate of their town hung in the balance. Would Jack see the truth of their struggle, or numbly retreat back to his high-rise towers? Mia felt the weight of every gaze pressing down on her, amplifying her heartbeat. She steadied her breath and looked around at the faces of her neighbors, friends, and mentors. They were counting on her to bridge the chasm between fear and hope. "Because," she repeated, this time with a bit more confidence, "we believe in our community. In each other. We want to create something meaningful, something that lasts." The tremor in her voice gave way to a softer conviction, a glimpse of the dream she envisioned. Jack's expression shifted from aloof to contemplative. Mia noticed a flicker of uncertainty in the corners of his mouth, a sign that perhaps he wasn't as immune to the rawness of her words as she had feared. "Look," she continued, her voice gaining momentum, "we've all felt the struggle, lost jobs, closed stores, empty streets. But we're still here. We won't let this town fade away, not without a fight." The crowd shifted slightly, a quiet murmur rippling through them, breathing life into her chances. "Sure, we want investment. We want jobs. But more than that, we want to thrive together. We don't need to be rescued, but we love a partner along the way." Her eyes locked onto Jack's. "What we need from you is more than money. We need to feel seen." There was a moment of stunned silence, then someone in the back shouted, "What do you propose?" Mia felt a rush of clarity. This was her chance. "We create jobs that build up our community," she said. "Let us propose art initiatives that showcase our local talent. Imagine a community hub where people can learn, create, and grow. A place where hope is tangible." Jack listened intently, his brow furrowing as he absorbed her energy. The crowd began to nod, caught up in her enthusiasm. The doubts that had clouded their hearts seemed to lift just a little. And we could hold regular town meetings, Mia added, to keep the lines of communication open. So we can build trust and transparency. Not just for us, but for every town that feels ignored. Jack's gaze softened, and Mia thought she detected a flicker of something almost like admiration. It sent a spark through her, reigniting her strength. "Those sound like promising ideas," he finally said, his voice steadying. "But trust takes time. I know that. I want to start with something small. A fund to reboot local businesses. We could perhaps organize a community-wide event to attract visitors, to gather momentum." A surge of excitement rippled through the crowd, then Sarah called out, "That's a great start, Jack. We'll help." For a fleeting moment, amid the whirlwind of emotions, Mia felt like she was floating. This could actually happen. Maybe, just maybe, they were beginning to shift their narrative, but then, a thought crept into her mind, heavy with doubt. Would this really change anything long-term? Would Jack stick around once the attention waned? Or was this just another fleeting promise lost in the winds of business? As these uncertainties mingled with the joy of the moment, she glanced at Jack. His posture had relaxed, but a shadow remained on his face. It was clear he had walls built around him, perhaps self-imposed layers of armor to shield him from discomfort. "Let's make this a start," Jack reiterated, his tone measured but sincere. "I'll form a committee with you all for follow-ups." He glanced around before landing back on Mia. "And you, if you're willing, have my support." Heart racing, Mia wanted to scream with joy. But could they really count on him? Would Jack put forth the effort this time? As she shared a hopeful smile with her friends, the doubt lingered, knotting her stomach. Ian, a neighbor's child, tugged at her sleeve. "Mia, can we really trust him?" The crowd murmured apprehensively, the air thick with skepticism. As she took a step back, the burden of the moment hit Mia again, a chance tangled with a risk. Her optimism battled with the weight of past disappointments. Before she could respond, the door of uncertainty creaked open again, inviting deeper questions into the fray. Would this first step lead to real change, or were they all just standing on the edge of another broken promise? "Let's see what we can build, together," Mia finally said, determination firing behind her words. But deep inside, she wondered, was that enough to ignite the transformation they craved? As the meeting adjourned, Mia felt a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. The chatter of hope echoed around her, but doubt still curled in her gut. She stood outside, leaning against the cool brick wall of the community center, watching the last of her neighbors spill out into the evening air. Flickering street lamps cast a warm glow, their faces illuminated by excitement and skepticism in equal measure. "Hey, Mia," Sarah called out, jogging over to her as the crowd dispersed. "You did amazing in there. Seriously, I think you inspired everyone." Mia forced a smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Thanks, but I'm not sure it was enough." Sarah squinted, concern knitting her brow. "What do you mean?" "Jack said he'd support us." "It feels too easy," Mia admitted, sliding down the wall until she was seated on the pavement, knees drawn to her chest. "One committee meeting and a small fund, what if that's all he does?" Mia's gaze fell to the sidewalk, its cracks as jagged as her thoughts. Past failures whispered in her ear, reminding her of promises that had crumbled like so much dust. "Remember what happened last time the big shots came in?" she added, bitterness creeping into her voice. "They threw money at us and vanished. I want this to be different." "I get it," Sarah said softly, sitting down beside her. "But maybe this time it's different." Jack seemed invested truly. Mia nodded, but her heart felt heavy. "He has walls up, Sarah. It's like he doesn't want to let anyone in." "Maybe you can show him how," Sarah prompted. "You know, break those walls down." The challenge sparked something in Mia. What if she reached out to Jack personally? Would he even let her in? Suddenly, a strong voice broke through the air. Mia. Jack emerged from the gathering, striding towards her with purpose. His usual composure seemed more approachable now, the tension in his shoulders had eased slightly. Can we talk? He asked, gesturing toward a quieter corner of the parking lot. Mia exchanged a glance with Sarah, who encouraged her with a small thumbs up. Heart pounding, she nodded and followed Jack into the shadows cast by the streetlights. I want to let you know, he began, looking almost vulnerable, I'm serious about the support. It's not just for a photo op. I see that something is building here. He paused, searching her face. But I need to understand what you envision more deeply. How do we make this community hub a reality? His earnestness caught Mia off guard, and she felt a flicker of hope again. We make it a place for everyone, where they can feel involved, like their voices matter. Workshops, art events, perhaps even a community garden. Her voice began to energize as she spoke, seeing vivid images in her mind. Jack watched her intently, a shadow of something shifting behind his eyes. You're passionate about this, he said finally. But what are you going to do if the momentum fades away? Mia hesitated, questions dancing in her mind. I guess I'd be afraid. Afraid no one would care anymore. Then let me help, he replied, and she noticed the sincerity that underlined his words. We can create a team that holds you accountable, that keeps the fire alive even after the spotlight fades. Mia's heart raced again, the idea sparking something powerful. Do you mean that? Absolutely. Just then, a loud crash echoed from nearby, followed by sudden shouts. Mia's heart dropped as screams pierced the night. She and Jack turned toward the source of the commotion, dread pooling in her stomach. What on earth was that? Mia gasped, panic rising in her chest. Jack grabbed her arm, his grip firm. Let us find out. As they ran toward the chaos, Mia felt the weight of her aspirations slip away, replaced by a hard reality that threatened to shatter everything she had just begun to build. Would the danger ahead snuff out their hope before it even had the chance to ignite? Mia and Jack dashed toward the loud commotion filtering through the night. Shadows danced ominously in the street, illuminated by the flickering glow of the street lamps. Mia's heart raced. Was this a sign that hope was about to vanish before it could even fully bloom? As they rounded the corner, the chaos came into view. A group of teenagers were gathered, some yelling and gesturing wildly. Glass lay shattered on the pavement, twinkling menacingly under the streetlights. Panic surged through Mia, a reminder of all the chaos she had hoped to leave behind. Stay close, Jack instructed, his voice steady. His presence was a cautious anchor in the storm of her thoughts. What happened? Mia asked one of the onlookers, a girl from her neighborhood. Some guy just crashed his car into the lamppost. The girl replied, her eyes wide, filled with a mix of fear and intrigue. And now he's out of the car, and it doesn't he look good? Mia's chest tightened as she pushed her way through the crowd. She wanted to see for herself, but dread and responsibility clawed at her insides. She felt that desperate urge to help. Jack, sensing her anxiety, squeezed her shoulder gently. Let us just see what's going on. When they reached the front, Mia saw the car a mangled wreck of metal and the figure sprawled awkwardly on the ground. The wind seemed to slow as her breath caught in her throat. Someone had already called an ambulance, but it felt like time was slipping away. Mia's eyes locked on the man on the ground. He looked disheveled, his clothes torn, and his face was smeared with dirt and blood. A small instinct urged her to move closer, to assess the situation, to ask if he was okay. Stay back, Mia. Jack urged, stepping in front of her. Let the paramedics handle this. But she was already stepping forward, ignoring the protests in her mind. Is anyone a doctor? She shouted into the crowd, almost pleading. The group murmured as some began calling for help again. She could feel an energy building in her, the same fire igniting her passion for the community hub. Just then, a voice broke through the din. An older man, gray-haired and tired-looking, pushed through the crowd. "I'm a medic," he said, kneeling beside the man on the ground, his hands quickly assessing the injuries. "Please, stay calm," he instructed the crowd. "We need to make space." Mia felt a rush of relief and hope wash over her at the sight of help. The air felt charged, the chaos still swirling, yet the presence of the medic shone like a beacon. Jack stood beside her, his expression darkening as he watched the scene unfold. "We should get everyone out of the way," he muttered, glancing back at Mia. "Wait," she said, an idea blossoming in her mind. "What if we organize the crowd? Get everyone to line up and give their contact info for support, or even if they saw anything. We could help them fight for a cause." Jack blinked at her, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "Are you serious?" "Yes," she said, her voice more certain now. "We can start with this. Show them that community means more than just being together." Before he could respond, Mia approached some people nearby. "Hey, we need to help this man. Can you write your information down in case they need witnesses?" To her surprise, the first person stepped forward, then another. Encouragement bloomed as people began to pitch in, rallying to one another's aid. Jack's face softened, caught up in her infectious energy. "Mia, this could really make a difference." They worked together, like a well-oiled machine, gathering support and pushing away the chaos just enough for the medic to do his job. As sirens wailed in the distance, clarity shifted in Mia's heart. In a moment of crisis, she realized that the community she dreamed of could be forged even in the most unpredictable circumstances. But as the paramedics arrived and took over, a looming thought tugged at her heart. If things can break down so easily, how do we keep it from shattering again? That night, she learned strength wasn't just about hope, it was about action. And as the sirens shrieked, she couldn't shake the feeling that the biggest challenges were still ahead, ones that would test everything she was trying to build. Would she have the courage to face those looming obstacles? Her head spun with thoughts, each one louder than the last. Once the paramedics secured the scene, Mia watched them carefully. She was torn between wanting to help and needing to step back. The man on the ground was now being loaded onto a stretcher, and while he seemed unconscious, she couldn't shake the feeling that the encounter was not yet over. "Did you see that? You really rallied the crowd," Jack exclaimed, his gratitude evident. "I mean, look at everyone stepping up. You brought them together." Mia felt a rush of warmth at his words, the high of action pulsing through her veins. "Yeah, but it's not enough," she replied, her brow furrowed. "What if that man doesn't make it? What if everyone here goes back to their lives without doing anything more?" Jack's lips pressed into a thin line, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. "What do you mean?" "Look around us," she said, her gaze sweeping over the onlookers, who chatted idly amongst themselves now that the immediate chaos was over. "This could have happened anywhere. What if we did something more to make sure our community was prepared next time?" Jack nodded slowly, his eyes lighting up with realization. "You're right, but how do we do that? We can't control everything." With a newfound determination, Mia straightened her shoulders. "We can start small," she declared, a plan forming in her mind. "What if we organized a community safety workshop? Show people how to respond in emergencies, to help each other. Like a rally, but more focused." Jack asked, his enthusiasm growing. "Exactly. We can show them how to take action instead of panicking. We can teach first aid, or what to do if someone gets hurt. Information is power, Jack." As the nearby tensions faded, Mia's heart swelled at the idea. Finally, she felt like she was channeling her energy into something meaningful. Together, they could build something out of the chaos, something that could save lives. The crowd began to disperse, casual conversations blossoming as people began to drift. Yet a small group lingered, curious and animated, drawn to Mia and Jack. They had witnessed the energy Mia radiated just minutes before and wanted to be part of something positive. Mia glanced at Jack, her excitement mounting. Look. I think we can really make a difference, starting now. Determined, they approached the small gathering. Hey, everyone. We're thinking of organizing some events to help our community. Would you want to join us? She asked, her voice steady. Many faces lit up with interest. A few people nodded vigorously, and a couple stepped closer, sharing their stories about how they wished for more knowledge during emergencies. A local librarian chimed in, I can help with resources. We could use the community center. Mia felt a surge of hope this could grow into something transformative. Yet, as the conversations flowed, a familiar shadow darkened her mind, how to sustain this energy. It was easy to rally around urgency, but how to keep the momentum going? Just as thoughts swelled in her head, a voice broke through the chatter. Excuse me. A man in a crisp suit approached, his presence commanding attention. I couldn't help but overhear. I'm a philanthropist and run a few community programs. Would you be interested in expanding this? Mia's heart sank, and excitement surged all at once. The world seemed to shift again, opening into an unknown realm of possibilities. How could a billionaire help kids like her? As an overwhelming sense of potential filled the air, she wondered what sacrifices would come with this new opportunity. With eyes wide open, Mia couldn't help but feel she was on the precipice of something even bigger than she had anticipated. The challenges ahead loomed, and she knew they were going to need strength and resilience. But the coming revolution of their community awaited, poised on the edge of change. Could they really turn this moment into lasting impact? Mia's heart raced. A billionaire? It felt surreal, almost like a plot twist from a movie. She blinked, trying to process the man's words while the group around her murmured in confusion and excitement. Jack placed a reassuring hand on her back, sensing the mix of emotions swirling within her. Expand? Mia managed, her voice barely above a whisper, but the man heard her. Yes, he smiled, his eyes bright with possibility. Imagine holding workshops not just here, but in neighboring towns. I can help with funding and connections to professionals. We can create programs that will actually change people's lives. The thrill of his offer washed over her like a wave. Could this really be happening? The chance to take their ideas to a broader audience was intoxicating. Yet, deep down, Mia felt a knot of doubt tightening in her stomach. What's the catch? She asked, her brows knitted together. The man chuckled softly, sensing her hesitation. No catch, but I believe in accountability. I would want to work closely with you and the community leaders. He paused, letting his words sink in. Your vision is inspiring, but I want to ensure it remains authentic to your mission. Mia glanced at Jack, who nodded slightly, as if saying, go on, it's worth considering. She turned back to the man, feeling the weight of their collective gaze upon her. Okay, she said, her voice steadier now, we could try that, but I need to ensure everyone is on board. This isn't just about me. It's about us, our community. Absolutely. Let us have a meeting, then. Get everyone together and see what they think, he replied, enthusiasm brightening his expression. As they spoke, Mia felt a flicker of something deeper, an urge to protect the spirit of their grassroots effort. She didn't want this to become just another project driven by dollars. It had to be fueled by passion, by real stories of love, loss, and hope from their community. The crowd began to revive, each person trading ideas, eager to contribute. People gathered around Mia and Jack, buzzing with excitement. It was the kind of energy that made Mia's heart swell. They were building something, and she was at the helm of it. Can we brainstorm a name for our initiative? One teenager shouted, her eager smile infectious. Safety United. Jack exclaimed, and laughter erupted around them. Or Community Lift. Someone else suggested. As they tossed around names, Mia realized this mixed excitement was exactly what they needed, a community reminding each other that even when faced with chaos, they could rise together to create something brighter. It all felt so right, yet shadows loomed. Would they retain control of this project? Would the billionaire remain true to their vision? Let us meet tomorrow, Mia declared, determination surging through her. We'll lay out our ideas and make a plan. Cheers of agreement erupted, and Mia's pulse quickened. She didn't want to lose sight of what had inspired this movement in the first place: the unity, the passion, the heart of their stories. But as the crowd began to disperse, she spotted the man in the suit lingering on the periphery, his eyes fixed on her. A flicker of doubt crossed her mind. Who was he really? And what would this mean for their small-town dreams? Amidst the hopeful chatter, Mia felt a weight settle. She knew they were stepping into uncharted waters, and it wouldn't be easy to keep everything they had built intact. With determination in her heart, Mia whispered to herself, "We can do this." But a question nagged at her: would it all be worth it in the end? As her stomach churned with uncertainty, she couldn't shake the feeling that a storm of challenges awaited them. What would they face as they ventured into this new territory? Mia woke up early the next morning, the sun just peeking over the horizon. Light streamed through her window, casting a soft glow on her bedroom walls. She tossed and turned in her bed, unable to shake off the whirlwind of thoughts from the night before. The meeting. The billionaire. Their community poised on the brink of growth. Could this be real? She dressed quickly, her mind miles away. Every piece of clothing felt like armor. Today was important, she could feel it in her bones. Slipping on her favorite sneakers, she grabbed her notebook, already filled with ideas and sketches for their initiative. Each page carried a piece of her heart. At the community center, the energy was electric. People poured in, each person fueled by anticipation. The conversations buzzed in the air, interspersed with laughter and hesitant questions. Mia took a deep breath, savoring the familiar smell of brewed coffee mingled with the scent of fresh paint. It felt like home, the backdrop for her dreams and aspirations. As she stepped up to the makeshift podium, she scanned the crowd. Jack stood at the front, giving her an encouraging nod. She could do this. "Thank you all for coming," Mia began, her voice trembling at first but then building strength. "We're here to discuss an incredible opportunity for our community. Yesterday, we met with Mr. Harrington." She paused, allowing the name to sink in. The collective murmur cut through the room, surprise and curiosity lighting their faces. "I know this is unexpected, but we're at a crossroads. We can expand our reach, create programs, and touch lives beyond our town," she said, allowing honesty to spill from her lips. "But I need to hear from all of you. This must reflect us, our values, and our dreams." Hands shot up around the room, eager voices overlapping. It was inspiring. Excited murmurs morphed into a chorus of opinions, each person adding something unique to the discussion. Mia felt the positivity washing over her, doubts began to melt away, replaced with hope and a sense of shared purpose. "I think we should include workshops on mental health," shouted Melissa, a local teacher. "No, wait. What about mentorship programs to connect our teens with professionals?" came a voice from the back. As ideas flowed like a river, Mia's heart swelled. This wasn't just a project, it was a movement. But then, as the discussions heated up, a voice cut through the camaraderie: a woman in the back, arms crossed tightly. "But what about the funding? We can't be sure he'll keep his word." The room fell silent, and Mia felt the heat rise to her cheeks. "I understand your concerns," Mia responded, determination anchoring her voice. "It's true, we have to be careful. But this is our chance. We have to ensure our community spirit remains front and center. Mr. Harrington wants to partner with us, not dictate our path. Are you sure he won't just take over?" Another voice chimed in. Mia could feel the fear circling the room, like a dark cloud threatening to overshadow their enthusiasm. She needed to reassure them but didn't want to dismiss their unease. "I don't have all the answers, but I do know that together, we are powerful. We can set the terms of our partnership. Our story matters." The group murmured in agreement, the passion reigniting. "Let us take our time and create a plan," Jack interjected, breaking the tension. "We're not rushing into anything. This is our chance to shape the future." In that moment, Mia felt a flicker of hope amidst the uncertainty. They were more than just a community, they were a family strong and resilient. And with Jack, she felt empowered to face whatever challenges lay ahead, but as they moved forward, Mia's mind kept returning to the man in the suit. Her heart raced at the thought. What truly motivated him? Later that evening, as she prepared for bed, unease nagged at her. She needed to know more. And right then, an idea sparked in her mind. What if she spoke to him one-on-one? Could she uncover his true intentions? The question hung heavy in the air, like a weight pressing down. What secrets might he hold? And would they be worth uncovering? The night enveloped her, shadowed with both promise and unanswered questions about the man who could change everything. The sun climbed slowly in the sky, heralding a new day, and with it, the dawn of hope for Mia Thompson. As she raced to the community center, her heart raced with every step. Today was going to be different. The air was fresh and crisp, bursting with potential. Inside the community center, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Mia felt the energy like static electricity as neighbors and friends filled the room, discussing ideas and visions. The walls that had once echoed with desperation now reverberated with possibility. She took a deep breath, soaking in the warmth of togetherness. Jack stood nearby, his presence both calming and encouraging. "You ready?" he asked, a supportive grin on his face. "Absolutely," Mia replied, drawing strength from his confidence. She stepped to the podium, her heart pounding with the weight of expectations, but this time, it was different. She wasn't alone. "Good morning, everyone," she began, her voice steadying as she scanned the crowd. "We're here to develop our vision for the future. Our community deserves more than just survival, we deserve to thrive." Applause erupted around her, and Mia felt herself smile. Ideas started flowing: workshops on entrepreneurship, mentorship programs, health clinics, and even art initiatives. She encouraged everyone to chime in, transforming doubts into dreams. The room pulsed with energy as they brainstormed together, each person contributing their strengths to the dream of a blossoming community. Then, amid the excitement, the shadow of doubt crept back into Mia's mind. What if everything collapsed like before? Just then, that same voice from yesterday echoed through the room. "But can we trust this billionaire?" The air grew thick with apprehension, but Mia knew this moment required action. "I get that trust has to be earned, not given," she said, her voice firm yet compassionate. "But trust can also build if we let it. We need to set the terms of this relationship." Jack stepped forward, nodding. "Let us do this together. We can be the ones shaping what this partnership looks like. This isn't just a lifeline thrown to us, it's an opportunity for community-driven revival." The mood shifted, invigorated by their shared resolve. Ideas burst forth as more voices joined the chorus, every suggestion cheering the air. As they spoke, Mia felt a spark ignite deep within her. She could picture the community hub where laughter mingles with determination, where strength blossoms from unity. A shout came from the back, "Are we ready for a vote on what initiatives to prioritize?" Mia turned and smiled, "Yes. Let us get moving." The room filled with enthusiastic chatter as they organized into groups. Each member took charge of particular initiatives, ready to forward the dream. Mia felt a swell of pride. Their plans morphed from thoughts to tangible goals before her very eyes. After the meeting, as the crowd began to disperse, Mia turned back toward Jack. "Thanks for everything. This is something incredible," she said, her heart overflowing with gratitude. Jack nodded. "You made it happen. You brought them together." In that moment, Mia realized transformation starts with people, not just promises. It evolved in active conversations among those committed to change. Hope flickered brighter than ever, but as each day passed, Mia kept her mind tuned toward that mystery billionaire in the crisp suit. Curious and perceptive, she sought him out, planning a one-on-one conversation. If she could clear the air, if she could grasp his motivations, perhaps she'd expose the heart of this endeavor. One evening, after another successful communal meeting, she approached him as he gathered his belongings. "Mr. Harrington?" Mia ventured, nervous but resolute. He turned, looking directly into her eyes with an openness she hadn't expected. "What can I do for you, Mia? Can we talk? About our partnership, about your vision?" Her voice shook, but a fire burned in her belly. He nodded, leading her to a quieter corner. Mia took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "I just want to ensure that this stays true to our values. I know this is a big opportunity, but I also worry it can become something we can't control." His expression darkened as he processed her words. "I appreciate your honesty, Mia. You don't want your spirit swallowed in the business world. My intention is to help, not to dominate." "I believe you," Mia continued, the tension easing. "But can we work together to keep this community driven? Can we build it from the ground up?" Their eyes locked in a silent pact, understanding reflecting between them. "I promise to uphold that," he replied sincerely. "I want you at the forefront. This is about people, not a boardroom." Mia felt a rush of relief, a warmth rekindled in her heart. "Together, we can create something amazing." As their plans took form, the community transformed day by day. Mia's friendships flourished, and neighbors who once felt lost now stood united. The once dim streets began to breathe life as murals adorned brick walls, crafts and arts filled classrooms, and laughter rang through the air where silence once prevailed. And on one bright Saturday afternoon, as Mia stood on stage at the opening of their community hub, a vibrant space of unity, she looked out at the faces smiling back at her. People embraced the power of togetherness, and for the first time, she felt that fragile but powerful sense of belonging. They did it. They fought for their dreams and stood as one. In that moment, Mia realized that kindness, courage, and community could rewrite any script. When one heart speaks for many, a collective voice emerges, transforming lives forever. The past washed away in waves of collective hope and resilience. Mia looked out across the crowd, feeling tears of joy surface. In her heart, she knew this was only the beginning. Together, they would keep rising. If you felt inspired by Mia's journey, here's your chance. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support and keep the stories alive. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, so we can continue creating transformative tales together. Comment your reactions to this ending, and let us keep this conversation flowing. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. They deserve to hear it, too. Your support means everything.